I remember in 2020, right when COVID happened, I was working at this human capital management software company, and I was talking to this lady who was a client, and she had to work from home, of course. She was like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to do this. I can't get anything hooked up. Nothing's right. I just want to go back to the office so bad. And I said, you'll get used to it. I said, once you realize how much time and money you're saving, you'll totally get used to it. Like, no BS. It was a year and a half later that I had that same client, because we just had our book of business that we had. I had the same client, and she was like, you were so right. I do not want to go back in the office ever. I love working from home. I save so much time. I can have my kids at home more. She had a younger child, and so it was just more convenient for her and more cost effective. Fast forward 5 years later, nobody wants to go back to the office. And I mean, nobody. Out of my companies that I recruit for and the applicants I get, the companies I recruit for, I'd say 60% of them, maybe more, want people back in the office. But the candidates, it's like 90% want to work from home. And I'm going to be real, not everybody's going to qualify to work from home. And I say that because when I first started out, like not as a recruiter, but I wanted to expand my knowledge and get more of a technical background on my resume, I worked in the office for a year. And I'm glad I did, because that job was like kind of hard. I'm going to be real. It was kind of hard. And I feel like if I wasn't in the office to ask the person next to me a question, I had a question for every single case. That's how crazy it was. I don't know how I got through that department, but I did. But anyway, it was just every single case I got, I was like, what is this? Nothing is black and white. This is absolutely insane. I don't know if I would have made it if I didn't have that year, 2016. And then once 2017 came, then I started working from home. But that, like, I needed the help really, really bad. So it was actually easier for me to go into the office and get that help than it was for me to try to ping people, and it was Skype at the time, try to Skype people, reach out to people for help, and then they don't answer you right away, and you have somebody on the other line who's impatient. Hot mess, just a hot mess. So when you're looking for a job, think of it that way, especially if you are either starting out or you're trying to transition into a new career. You might want to consider going into the office, because you can make things harder on yourself, and you do build better relationships too. But once you get to mid-level and up, it may not be as big of a deal depending on which department or which company you work for. But that's another conversation for another day. But the point is if you're trying to transition or you're starting out, working in the office is more of the way to go. I know it sucks, but do that for like a year, and then you can start branching off and working from home.